Hi! Welcome to the beginning of a very special month-long video event. I'm Marcel Gatiss Elfman-Byrne, and I will be your host for the next 31 days as we count down to the premiere of Season 4 of BBC Sherlock. That's right, 31 days! Get ready! I'm not ready. Are you ready? I'm not. I'm really not. I can't stress that enough. An Advent calendar, you may ask. What's that? Well, in the immortal words of Beyonce, it's a countdown. A countdown every single day leading up to Season 4 of Sherlock, to make it a little bit less terrifying, or more exciting, or both, or neither. I'm not really sure how you're gonna react to it. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't stress that enough. I'm not a doctor. Please do not sue me. This project came from the minds of your TJLC Explained host and my friend Rebs Gators, my friend Ryan Bread, and myself. We really wanted to give everybody something fun to look forward to in the terrifying coming month. After all this time, it's finally happening. Sherlock Season 4. So many things have happened in the meantime. 3 years, 2 set locks, 1 special. Benedict Cumberbatch, for example, he did a lot. He should probably take a nap. I'm kind of worried about him. Another thing that's happened over the last 3 years is a lot of us have made a lot of friends and a lot of memories, and we're going to be celebrating all that while we count down to Season 4 by sharing some of our favorite John Locke memories with 31 of our good friends. Or 32. I'm pretty sure there's some collabs happening. I'm not very good at math. To kick off this month-long celebration, here's my close personal friend and twin, Rebs Gators, with the first day of John Locke.
Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca, and on this first day of TJLC Advent, I'm going to be talking to you about mirrors. As you already know, one of the many ways Mark and Steven have told us John Locke is going to happen is through the use of mirror characters on the show. Sometimes these mirrors establish things our main characters should avoid, like the cabbie's victims, or they foreshadow future conflicts like Lucy and Andrew West, or they might even make up the central conflict of the narrative like John and Moriarty's battle for Sherlock's heart. But there are some mirrors that are just there to remind us that John and Sherlock are in love and are going to end up happily together. And those are the ones I'd like to talk about today. So on this first day of John Locke, here are the 5 most reassuring mirrors that Mark and Steven have given us. Number 5. Sabrina and her girlfriends happily ever after. The Sign of 3 and John's blog. This is only so far down on the list because it's only vaguely referred to on the show. But if you dig a bit further down, you find one of the most convincing pieces of evidence that our 2 leads are going to have a happy ending. An episode after John hesitates outside the door of 221B, considering whether or not to go back to his old life with Sherlock. Sherlock points out that a client walking back and forth on the pavement can only have one motivation.
Oscillation on the pavement always means there's a love affair.
So we already know that John is having a love affair with Sherlock, but if you read John's write-up of the case, things only get more obvious. Sabrina came to Sherlock hoping to get evidence that her husband was lying to her, but it turns out he was using his knowledge of her sexuality to keep her with him. Her big secret was that she was actually in love with another woman. Sherlock gets the blackmail material that Sabrina's husband had on her, and encourages her to be with the woman she loves. Sabrina takes the advice, goes through a messy divorce, comes out, and lives happily ever after with her one true love. Just like John and Sherlock will one day very soon. Number 4. Mrs. Turner's Married Ones. A Study in Pink and John's blog. Again, this is only so far down on the list because it goes by so quickly, but it's no less reassuring for that. When John comes to see 221B for the first time, Mrs. Hudson assumes he's there because he's Sherlock's boyfriend. You know, like people always do. When John says he'll be needing a second bedroom, Mrs. Hudson tells him that he doesn't have to hide. It's a very friendly neighborhood.
Oh, don't worry, there's all sorts around here. Mrs. Turner next door's got married once.
Holmes fans will know that Mrs. Turner was another name that Doyle gave to Mrs. Hudson, meaning that Mrs. Turner and Mrs. Hudson are one and the same. So then the married ones living under Mrs. Turner's roof are in fact a mirror for Sherlock and John. Joe Lidster, the author of the blog entries, really took this piece of evidence and ran with it, and the comments are littered with Mrs. Hudson using Mrs. Turner's account and pointing out that she is in fact Mrs. Hudson. Another reassuring hint that John and Sherlock are going to end up married.
Hi, my name is Beatriz from Spain. And I would like to know if we are ever gonna see Mr. Turner marries once. You know, the couple who lives next to Holmes and Watson.
I have not prepped for that question. In one of the stories, because he's very careless, he changes Mrs. Hudson's name by mistake. He changes from Mrs. Hudson to Mrs. Turner.
Number 3, Gary and Billy the Innkeepers, the Hounds of Baskerville. You just have to love how many gay characters they've managed to sneak in the background of BBC Sherlock. When John and Sherlock are investigating Henry Knight's case, they choose to stay at the Cross Keys Inn, a very nice place run by two happily married men, who just happen to assume that John and Sherlock are likewise in a relationship.
Sorry we couldn't do a double room for you boys.
That's fine. We're not... There you go.
Oh, Tuck, I'll just get your change.
Tough.
What with the monster and the ruddy prisoner, I don't know how we sleep nice. Do you, Gary?
Like a baby.
That's not true. He's a snorer.
Hey,
Is yours a snorer?
Got any crisps?
There are lots of things tying these two to our main couple. From Billy's name, to Gary's purple shirt, to John changing his speech patterns to match Gary's, to Billy not being able to put his dog down. But my favorite of them all is the intensely blatant framing of a scene where Gary and John are placed in front of one mirror, and Billy and Sherlock are placed in front of another. At the end of the episode, Billy and Gary are still happy and together. One of the very few couples on the entire show that's true for. I guess gay people get happy endings on this show, or something. Number 2, Kate and Irene, A Scandal in Belgravia. Knowing that Irene is a mirror for Sherlock is crucial for understanding the episode at all, but it also gives us one of my favorite mirror couples, Kate and Irene. While the two only appear in one scene together, it makes a lasting impression. Sherlock gets ready with John's help, just as Irene gets ready with Kate's. And Kate and Irene's obviously romantic relationship is a hint of what's really going on between John and Sherlock. Of course, then Stephen Moffat decided to blatantly address the mirror and have John mention subtext right before juxtaposing John and Sherlock wrestling with Kate gently touching Irene's lips.
Punch me in the face.
Shade? Blood.
Punch you? Yes, punch me in the face. Didn't you hear me?
I always hear punch me in the face when you're speaking, but it's usually subtext.
Oh, for God's sakes. Thank you. That was...
Let go! Okay, I think we're done now, John.
You want to remember, Sherlock, I was a soldier. I killed people.
You were a doctor.
I had bad days.
What are you going to wear? My battle dress. Lucky boy.
Since Irene Norton in the canon ends up escaping with her husband, I think it's very reasonable to assume that Kate and Irene are having gay adventures to this day. I wonder who else might continue to have gay adventures by the end of the story. Before I get to my number 1 pick, here's an honorable mention for The Invisible Army, where the writers point out how clever we are for picking up on all these mirrors and shattering the illusion, and tell us that we are right and must win.
A simple reflection in glass of a living, breathing person. Their only mistake was breaking the glass when they removed it. Every great cause has martyrs. Every war has suicide missions, and make no mistake, this is war. One half of the human race at war with the other. The invisible army hovering at our elbows, tending to our homes, raising our children, ignored, patronized, disregarded, not allowed so much as a vote. But an army nonetheless, ready to rise up in the best of causes, to put right an injustice as old as humanity itself. So you see, Watson, Mycroft was right. This is a war we must lose.
And now, the number 1 slot goes to... Number 1, Mr. and Mrs. Holmes, The Empty Hearse, The Sign of 3, and His Last Vow. Before Series 3, if you had asked most fans what they expected Sherlock's parents to be like if we ever ended up seeing them, it wouldn't have been anything like we ended up getting. Instead of an imperious couple that acts like Mycroft, we got two fairly ordinary people who seemed oddly familiar. Maybe it had something to do with their costumes very closely resembling that of our two leads, or them finishing each other's sentences after a whole montage of John and Sherlock doing the same.
Talk to John.
I tried talking to him. He made his position quite clear.
Just relax, Mr. Summerson.
What did he say?
Cough. I'm recommending a course of...
Monkey glands. Mr. Windybank, you have been a complete and utter...
piss pot.
He's always losing things down the back of the sofa, aren't you, dear?
Afraid so.
Oh, keys, small change, sweeties, especially his glasses.
Glasses.
Blooming things. I said, why didn't you get a chain, wear 'em around your neck? And he says, what? Like Larry Grayson.
And actually, Mr. Holmes looking exactly like John is extremely suspicious after this line.
Beauty is a construct based entirely on childhood impressions, influences, and role models.
Because Mr. Holmes would have been Sherlock's childhood influence and role model, meaning that he would find people who resembled him attractive. Weird. Then we got the icing on the cake in his last vow. Mrs. Holmes, as it turns out, is a genius who wrote a book called The Dynamics of Combustion, a title which sounds strikingly like the title for Sherlock's website, The Science of Deduction. And what does Mr. Holmes think of his genius wife?
Complete flake, my wife, but happens to be a genius.
She was a mathematician.
Gave it all up for children. I could never bear to argue with her. I'm something of a moron myself, but she's unbelievably hot.
Mr. Holmes tries to draw a parallel between himself and John's wife, but the awkward silence makes it clear that that's not quite right.
Oh my god. You're the sane one, aren't you?
Aren't you?
No, Mr. and Mrs. Holmes are a picture of what the future holds for John and Sherlock. And they are, as John says,
He's lovely mum and dad, fine example of married life.
I can't wait to see them actually acting like this in Series 5. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first day of the John Locke Advent Calendar. Like Marcel said, you can expect a different person talking about a different topic every day this month. For tomorrow, remember that things that are great can also be small. Till next time, you can't read it, it says 32. 31 days left till Series 4! Woohoo!